Tonight, stumping in Duluth. The president's oldest son is in the Northland as Minnesota continues taking center stage in the president's re-election bid. Plus, after a weird start to the fall semester, students move in at UMD. A look at the unconventional year ahead. Plus, 1 year later, on the anniversary of a Duluth synagogue fire, we take a look back at the tragic day.
From CBS3 Duluth, this is the CBS3 News at 6.
Good evening, I'm Anthony Mack. Kristen is on assignment tonight. Thanks for joining us. President Donald Trump's son just wrapped up a Make America Great Again rally in Duluth. Donald Trump Jr. spoke at the deck in front of a crowd of about 250 people. He said smaller crowds and social distancing is not his style of politics, but added that he'll play by the pandemic's rules. Trump Jr. said some of these areas in our regions were traditionally blue-collar strongholds, but he claims they're not anymore. He asked a question of the steelworkers in the crowd.
What do you think about your union supporting Joe Biden? I mean, no, but think about it. I mean, this is the example of sort of, I call it liberal privilege, right? I wrote a book about it. The unions of steelworkers are going to support Joe Biden and spend their union dues supporting a campaign and a man who has probably single-handedly done more damage to manufacturing jobs than any other human being in American history.
Trump Jr. was referring to the United Steelworkers Union recently endorsing Democrat Joe Biden in the 2020 presidential race. USW leadership cited Biden's plan to expand access to affordable health care and more. However, Trump Jr. criticized Biden's support of the North American Free Trade Agreement, the Trans-Pacific Partnership, and China's status in the World Trade Organization. We'll have much more on this story tonight at 10. And before that visit to Duluth, Minnesota's DFL party held a virtual meeting criticizing the Trump administration. Party members included State Representative Liz Olson, St. Louis County Commissioner Keith Moosoff, and former 8th District Congressman Rick Nolan. They talked about how the federal coronavirus response has forced businesses to let go of workers, including Essentia and the Verso paper mill. Local representatives believe these recent visits from the Trump campaign are meant to be distractions from the real issues.
It's an attempt to divide us. It's an attempt to distract. It's an attempt to take away from everything that we know Minnesotans care about.
The Trump administration, and it's a prime example today with Donald Jr. being in town. You know, if they're professional at something, they're professional at distracting.
Along with the Biden-Harris ticket, DFL leaders pushed for the re-election of Minnesota Senator Tina Smith. Continuing with the presidential attention on Minnesota this week, we're learning President Trump's daughter-in-law will be in the state tomorrow. Lara Trump, who's married to Eric Trump, will visit Minneapolis tomorrow night. She plans to visit field offices and hold several campaign speeches. Meanwhile, the wife of presidential candidate joined Minnesota leaders for a conversation about back-to-school safety this morning. Dr. Jill Biden, Governor Tim Walz, and Senator Amy Klobuchar met with teachers and staff at Jeffers Pond Elementary School. That's just outside of the Twin Cities. It's part of their back-to-school tour. Biden was a teacher for more than 30 years, and she called the job a calling and said this year they're making the best of a challenging situation.
So educators, advocates, and parents are bringing every ounce of creativity and care and love to making sure that students don't fall behind. Because that's what we do.
Biden also discussed her husband Joe Biden's plans to make schools safe and equitable. She says he wants to expand access to PPE and technology to help students learn and also address the growing need for mental health services as students and teachers cope with the pandemic. Turning to state politics, Minnesota's governor is calling another special session to extend his peacetime emergency powers. Those powers are used to manage the pandemic. The special session will be held on Friday. It's the 4th so far this year. The Democratic governor said he intends to extend the peacetime emergency by another 30 days. The Republican-controlled Senate has used previous special sessions to vote to end those peacetime emergencies, saying the immediate emergency is over. The Democratic-controlled House, however, has blocked all of those attempts. Senate Republicans also used last month's special session to oust a Walz cabinet member. And Dave's here for our first look at the weather tonight. Dave, chilly start for just about everyone across the region today.
Yeah, just about. The only exception really was Watersmeet this morning. Let's take a look at a map of low temperatures. And in Watersmeet, Michigan, 42 degrees the hot spot. Ironwood in the chill zone at 34. Only 30 for Ashland and Solon Springs and Silver Bay. And then north of the Twin Ports, down into the 20s for much of the Arrowhead, Ely, Hibbing, Orr, International Falls, Big Fork, down into the 20s. And we're going to follow suit once again tomorrow morning, so we're looking at another round of freeze and frost alerts by tomorrow morning. Tomorrow afternoon, things might start to warm up because that high pressure system coming in will chase away the clouds that have been lingering in Wisconsin and make it cold tonight, but that extra sunshine tomorrow will warm us back towards normal. Instead of the 50s like today, we'll get back into the 60s. We won't quite get to normal, but it's going to be a lot closer. So we start the day in the 30s. Frost advisories and warnings we'll talk about in more detail in a couple more minutes, but then it gets sunnier by lunchtime, and coming back home tomorrow we'll be hitting 63 degrees. Normal's around 67, 68, so much closer. Next week we'll beat it, get into the 70s at least for a day. I'll tell you which day that's going to be just a little bit later.
Thanks, Dave. An update to a story we first brought you yesterday. We're learning a rural Douglas County man was killed when a parked dump truck he was working on rolled over him. Superior Police say it happened around 9:15 yesterday morning at Kimmy's Oil and Tire on Tower Avenue. The 21-year-old man died at the scene. Superior Police have not shared his name. They say preliminary reports show it was an accident, but an investigation is underway. After a delay in the move-in process due to COVID-19 concerns, close to 350 students were finally able to move on to the UMD campus. There are still 4 more move-in days to go before all 2,200 on-campus residents arrive. CBS 3's Leanne Valdez spoke to UMD officials about what they're doing to make sure students are kept safe.
A difficult day for UMD parents as they dropped off their children for the 2020 school year.
A little bittersweet, but yeah, I'm super excited.
Despite starting his freshman year amid uncertainty, UMD student Mitchell Alfson is excited too.
Starting to be independent, I guess, living on my own.
After move-in day was delayed 2 weeks, UMD officials say they hope students like Alfson will be able to stay on campus the rest of the school year.
So today is day 1 of our 5-day adventure for moving.
Officials hope starting with a socially distanced drive-in check-in process will help prevent the spread of COVID-19.
All students come to this parking lot and get split into either of these 2 lanes to get their keys to their room, get some information.
When students are all moved in, they'll have to follow the new maroon and gold sunrise plan, requiring them to quarantine as much as possible.
Go to class, eat food. If they have a job, they can go to that, but otherwise kind of hang tight in their room to reduce their exposure for those first 2 weeks.
The next few steps include curfews.
Step 2, students will have to be home at 9 p.m. back in their room, and then step 3 is midnight.
UMD housing officials say the dorm room experience is one you definitely can't get virtually.
It's just something about living in a space, having a roommate, living across the hall from other students, where you go through this shared experience and you know that you're not the only person that might be struggling with a midterm this week, or maybe not the only person who's feeling a little homesick. And having that.
UMD officials say if a student does start having symptoms while they're in school, they have a plan for isolation. The Maroon and Gold Sunrise Plan also calls for some in-person classes to return on Monday. It was 1 year ago today that a Duluth synagogue went up in flames. The Adass Israel Synagogue in downtown Duluth was destroyed by an overnight fire on September 9th of 2019. After a search for suspects or a cause, authorities determined the blaze was started by Matthew Amiot. Amiot was sentenced last November to a year in prison for negligent fire charges. The synagogue was torn down, and the lot on the corner of 3rd Street and North 3rd Avenue East still remains empty. Still to come on Live Local CBS 3, the pandemic has canceled many Northland events. However, a local favorite has found a way around the coronavirus.
Duluth Airport this morning started at 37, finished at 54. Cooler than normal on both counts, but normal is returning and warmer than normal by perhaps next Tuesday. We'll show you the 7-day forecast coming up in just a couple more minutes.
Live, local, CBS 3 News at 6 with Kristen Vaki, Anthony Matt, Kelly Hinson, and weather with meteorologist Dave Anderson on Live, local, CBS 3. Watch Dave, Caitlin, and Austin for local weather you can trust on CBS.
It's Slumberland's huge Labor Day sale. Get this stylish, comfy sectional for just $9.98 and get the storage ottoman free, or an incredible price on the Sealy Posturepedic Queen mattress and free shipping with no minimum. The Labor Day sale at Slumberland.
Kubota arrives, the workday gets easier.
No one serves you better than Lulich Implement.
We can help you at Ketamine North Infusion Center.
I've been suffering from PTSD and anxiety for 17 years, and it has helped tremendously more than the pharmaceutical medication I've been taking.
To learn more, visit us online. Be well with us at Ketamine North Infusion.
You can have a great time out at Fond Duluth and get paid for it. From frontline customer service to something more technical, your new career could be right in downtown Duluth. Stop in during business hours or go to our website to find job listings and apply.
I have been working to lower prescription drug prices since my first day in the Senate. And when Congress passed into law my bill to lower the price of insulin by making generics more available, progress finally. Now I'm working on a plan to manufacture drugs in America and build a supply chain so we're not relying on other countries for the medicine we need. I'm Tina Smith, and I approve this message because I'll work with anyone and do whatever it takes to get the job done.
I'm Carrie Harris, owner of Diabetic and Comfort Shoes. We have been in business in the Northland helping you with your everyday foot problems stemming from diabetes to plantar fasciitis for the past 17 years. Stop in and see the complete line of men's and women's shoes, from SAS to Allegria to Vionic, for those millions of people battling plantar fasciitis. And we still have a great selection of comfortable shoes for diabetics, Medicare and Minnesota healthcare approved. Remember, no foot problem is too big or too small. We'll find the way to your soul.
Incredible savings on mattresses during the big Sealy sale now at Slumberland. Get a Sealy Queen mattress as low as $99 or a luxurious Sealy Posturepedic for $9.99 plus free shipping. The big Sealy sale at Slumberland.
This is a really weird house.
I choked on a banana. The more twists, the more crazy the house is, the more people start to panic. I like that.
At this point in time, everyone else is fair game.
Are you gonna come after me? Like, stupid.
Like, I'm so ready to just, like, run in slime and flip upside down. I don't know.
I'm like, yes, black girl magic, let's do it.
New Big Brother All-Stars, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays at 8/7 Central on CBS.
Watch Jeopardy at 4:30, followed by CBS3 Live at 5 on Live Local CBS3.
CBS3 Weather is brought to you by Lulich Implement.
Now, the CBS3 Duluth Weather Max forecast with meteorologist Dave Anderson.
Cold start this morning with some Arrowhead towns in the 20s. Looks like we're going to do it again tomorrow morning. Freeze warning now this time around goes in a stripe from just inland in Minnesota to the head of the lakes and into Douglas County in Wisconsin. Then a frost advisory for everybody else. And if Watersmeet was off the hook this morning, they're probably on it for tomorrow morning. Now this frost advisory has filled into the Upper Peninsula, but it should be the last morning for at least a week because a warming trend starts as early as tomorrow afternoon. So we'll talk about that and when our next chance for precip comes around in just a bit. Right now at the airport in Duluth, it's 52, relative humidity is 59%, and a south wind's going 6 miles per hour. 30.43 inches of mercury is the barometric pressure reading, and at the surface, that's on the high side, but up aloft, low pressure system from the southwest is pushing its clouds up and over the surface high. And so we've been getting some showers in Wisconsin and Michigan. In a few seconds, we'll see if they're still going on. But right now, current temperatures include 44s from Watersmeet to Ironwood and 45 to 48 for much of northern Wisconsin. But things are starting to warm at least a little bit temporarily in Superior at 52. Moose Lake's there as well, so is Silver Bay. 54 is the current number on the Vermilion Range. Mesabi numbers are pretty close to 53, and 54 is what we have for a good slice of borderland. Low temps tonight could go into the 20s again in northern Minnesota. Otherwise, 30 to 35 will be a common range for most of the rest of the region here. Okay, pressure systems, two of them battling for domination in our area. Cool high pressure trying to clear the sky and cool us down. Slightly warmer, cloudier, wetter, lower pressure from the southwest, pushing in a stripe of clouds towards the northeast through our region. And along that stripe, we've been seeing at least a little bit of shower activity in northern Wisconsin and even a couple of slightly more vigorous little clusters here, fairly close to Lake Superior near the Bayfield Peninsula. Those look like they're fading away. Even this little bit of precip should fade away as the high pressure system flexes its muscles and takes over the region for Thursday and for Friday. Starts the day tomorrow on a cold note, yes, but the sunshine, thanks to higher pressure allowing it in, will start to warm us up by the afternoon. And that's a process that will continue till about Tuesday or so. In between, the big snow-making low from Colorado will come our way. But with the warmer temperatures in place, we'll probably see rain on Saturday rather than snow. Although I've heard a couple reports of a couple of flurries being spotted in the sky today as those showers did try to pay off. Those should go away at least for a little while. Okay, tonight in Minnesota, low temps in the 30s, clear and cool. In Wisconsin, clearing and getting cool. Low to mid 30s for low temps there, and that's why we have frost advisories and freeze warnings. But tomorrow afternoon, sunshine, Wisconsin, Michigan, back into the 60s. Minnesota inland back into the 60s, though 50s are possible by the lake. And that's with the partly cloudy sky brought by the high, which keeps going on Friday, 66 and sunny. Saturday's a little blip, a little bump in the road with a cloudy sky, an 80% chance of rain, and a slight step backwards to 62. But, Tony, then look at Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 65 to 73 degrees.
Okay.
Normal is 68. We'll be in a nice region in between being too cold and too warm. It should be wonderful September weather.
Yeah, I found myself grumbling this morning as I was taking the dog out for a walk about how cold it was, and then I saw some reports from Colorado about how cold it is out there and all the snow they've got, and I just decided to turn my attitude around and go, you know what, it's still 50 degrees here, so.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dave. Happening right now, a group of Iron Rangers are wrapping up a rally after several northeastern Minnesota mayors recently endorsed President Donald Trump's re-election campaign. CBS3's Natalie Grant joins us live from that rally in Chisholm. Natalie, what are you hearing from those in attendance?
Well, Tony, it's a much different scene here than when I first brought this to you at 5 o'clock. The rally has now kind of dispersed a little bit as speakers have wrapped up this evening. Well, many of the people that were gathered here, though, were from across the Iron Range and not just from Chisholm. They're speaking out against the recent endorsement from the Trump campaign from mayors of Chisholm, Virginia, Two Harbors, Babbitt, Hoyt Lakes, and Evelyn. Now, someone I spoke with today say that that endorsement is a false representation of the entire area's views. Now, I'll step out of the way so you can kind of see some of the action that is still happening here at this rally. They're kind of starting to wrap things up, but several speakers spoke tonight, including Quinn Nystrom, who is challenging Republican Representative Pete Stauber for the 8th congressional seat. Another speaker tonight was the Mountain Iron mayor, who is one of the Iron Range mayors that was against that endorsement. Now, tonight, this group is calling upon St. Louis County Attorney Mark Rubin, to investigate whether the mayors crossed any legal lines when they endorsed Trump. They also announced the start of a recall petition aimed at removing Chisholm Mayor John Ciampa from office. Now, Ciampa told us last week that he has no plans to retract his support. And you will also see here, as we pan over this side, there is a counter protest that is also happening here tonight against the road on the other side of the parking lot. This has been a very peaceful event so far. There's been no mixing of the two groups here, but there is a counter protest that is happening tonight. Now, this rally does come on this exact same night as the Chisholm City Council meeting that started at 5:30. Well, they will be considering reaffirming a resolution that's saying that the city of Chisholm is a neutral city in itself, but we'll have much more on that coming up tonight at 10.
Certainly an interesting scene on the Iron Range right now as it relates to politics. Natalie Grant live for us tonight. Thanks, Natalie. Bentleyville's holiday light display will see a big twist this year. You won't be walking around the Duluth destination, you'll be driving. Bentleyville organizers made that announcement today, hoping this change will help prevent the spread of COVID-19 at an event that typically draws thousands each night. Vehicles will drive on plywood mats throughout Bayfront Park, a path that will cost Bentleyville around $30,000 to build. There will also be a $10 entry fee this year. Usually it's free. They hope the cost will help make up for lost finances, especially from sponsors that can't afford to donate this year. Nathan Bentley, Bentleyville's executive director, says the goal is to keep as many traditions alive as possible.
They were there when they were teenagers, they've been married, they have children, and it's their traditions for them. And it's important for our board. Our board was, how do we make this happen?
So far, Bentley says they're still considering whether you'll have to make a reservation to drive through Bentleyville. Organizers say they've been working with the city and MnDOT on a traffic plan. Meanwhile, Grandma's Restaurant has canceled its annual Oktoberfest. The German heritage celebration usually includes polka dancing, live music, and contests. Organizers say current COVID-19 restrictions did not allow for any of that. They hope to hold the event again next year. Coming up in sports, it's already time to start thinking about Grandma's 2021. Kelly tells us why coming up in just a minute.
to 60% off on summer clothing and footwear from the North Face and Columbia at Northwest Outlet.
CBS3 live cams are brought to you by Kohler Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac. You're not just getting a car, you're getting Kohler.
Lawless criminals terrorize Minneapolis. Joe Biden takes a knee. The weak response from Biden and radicals like Ilhan Omar has led to chaos and violence. And their calls for defunding police would make it worse. President Trump is making it stop, making crucial federal resources available to protect Minnesota's families. Communities, not criminals. Jobs, not mobs. Strong leadership when America needs it most.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Here at locally owned Adolphson Real Estate, we are ready to help you find the home of your dreams with no extra fees. Take a look at this gorgeous, centrally located home on 3.4 acres. Please call our Cloquet office for more details. Call us today to schedule a tour at Adolphson Real Estate.
Hi, I'm Steve Little with Bath Planet, your simple and affordable choice for bathtubs, showers, surrounds, and safety tubs. Right now, we are offering 0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments until 2022, or get your dream bathroom for as little as $69 a month. This offer ends September 30th, so call us today or go online to book your appointment to take advantage of this amazing offer. Bath Planet. Out of this world service and down to earth price.
You work hard for your money and deserve to see it go the extra mile. Join us Wednesday mornings and hear from local experts on tips to better manage your finances in Eye on Money on live local CBS 3. Brought to you by MPPL Financial.
My wife and I were driving with our dog, and that tractor trailer at full speed ran a red light and just creamed us.
After my parents were in the accident, we realized that we needed a law firm that we could trust. And that's when we decided to hire Schwabel, Getz & Sieben.
I can completely and confidently say that we made the right decision hiring Schwabel, Getz & Sieben. They did a wonderful job for us and really helped us when the chips were down.
Call or visit Schwabel.com today for a free consultation.
I've got one for you. See, UCare, health plan demystifiers and sleeve roller uppers.
UCare, health plan demystifiers and sleeve roller uppers.
Sounds so good when you say it. 96% of all providers accept UCare because they rock so hard.
96% of all providers accept UCare because they ride so hard. Can we pull over?
What's our tagline?
UCare people-powered health plan.
So good.
Dry, itchy skin, bad taste, stained appliances. Call Arrowhead Water right now and let us come to your home and perform our no-obligation free 10-minute water audit. We'll test hardness, iron, pH, sulfur, and chlorine. In no time, you'll see, feel, and taste the difference a home water system can make. And right now, when we install your home water system, you can save up to 30% over the lifetime of a new system. Call us now to schedule your no-obligation free 10-minute home water audit. Family owned, family trusted, and no 1-800 number. Arrowhead Water.
Watch Jeopardy at 4:30, followed by CBS 3 Live at 5 on live local CBS 3. Now, CBS 3 Sports with Kelly Hinson.
Grandma's Marathon, in its 44th year of existence, was one of the many events to fall as a casualty due to COVID-19. That didn't stop Grandma's from organizing a number of races that could be run over the course of the summer safely. Well, now they're looking to next year. The upcoming race for Grandma's will be the 45th anniversary for the race. With a new logo and new safety measures to be followed, the organization is opening up registration next month at half capacity. That is with the notion that if things either improve or get worse when it comes to COVID, things could ultimately change. But this is how it's set up as it goes along. Registration opens up with early bird pricing on October 1st, but Grandma's Full and Gary Bjorkland Half Marathon will be limited to half capacity at 4,000 runners. The William A. Irvin 5K will be limited to 1,500 runners. There is no doubt that this is a challenging time for athletes. Those that are playing are having to adapt new restrictions. Those that aren't are having to figure out life without the sport they've known. The College of St. Scholastica is now launching a new initiative to assist their student athletes. CSS announced the launch of their new student athlete development program today. The program aims to support the effort of every student athlete towards intellectual development, graduation, and preparation for life after college, focusing on wellness, personal development, academics, as well as social justice, diversity, and inclusion initiatives. And some not great news for the Vikings defensive unit going into their Week 1 matchup with Green Bay, as defensive end Danielle Hunter is officially ruled out. Hunter suffered a tweak, according to ESPN's Courtney Cronin, back on August 14th, related to a neck injury. The defensive end has been placed on injured reserve, and because of the new league-adopted COVID rules, he'll miss at least 3 weeks of the season. He won't return till Week 4. Last year, Hunter led the Vikings with 14.5 sacks. The Milwaukee Bucks may have taken a tough 4-1 series loss to the Miami Heat ending yesterday, but after the game, there was a small silver lining, if you can take one after the high expectations that Milwaukee had for themselves this year. Star forward Giannis Antetokounmpo told Chris Haynes of Yahoo Sports that he will not be requesting a trade this offseason. He said, quote, that's not happening. Some see a wall and go in another direction. I plow through it. Giannis has 1 year remaining on his contract before he is eligible to sign a Supermax deal next year. And the Brewers facing Detroit for Game 2 of a doubleheader. Last night losing 8-3. Different story. They've dropped 3 in a row, and that is until today because the bats came alive. Luis Arias gets things started in the second, shoots one into the gap. Arcia is in. It's 1-0 Crew. Then in the fourth, Jacob Nottingham goes yard for 2 more. All of a sudden, it's 8-0. And this game ended with a football line score column. Urias clears the bases with another double. Brewers win 19-0 after an 8-3 loss last night.
Yikes.
I'd call that bouncing back.
Yeah.
You know, the tides really turned for Wisconsin fans. I mean, last night was a really tough pill to swallow for them with the Bucks. And then Giannis announces, I'm not going anywhere. I plow through.
Yeah. Good news for baseball fans today in Wisconsin, and then even good news for Packers fans because Danielle Hunter likes to terrorize quarterbacks. So without him on the line,
they will remember him very well. Yes.
They will. Yeah. Thanks, Kelly. Tonight on the CBS3 News at 10, during Donald Trump Jr.'s visit to Duluth today, community members came together in downtown Duluth to protest the visit. Later tonight, we're hearing from demonstrators who say the president's message does not resonate with northern Minnesota values and say they don't support the visit by the president's son. And let's get a last look at the weather tonight. Dave, cold today. Are we going to keep seeing cold, or is it going to warm up anytime soon?
Yeah, if we have our eyes open tomorrow morning, we'll see plenty of cold. We're looking at another frost and freeze warning covering our entire area here. The coldest will be in the center part of our region and still pretty chilly on the fringes, but it won't last forever. After tomorrow morning, sunshine will let things warm up into the 60s again for Thursday and Friday, which is close to normal. Next rain chance is Saturday, an 80% shot with a cloudy sky, but then some Sunday, Monday into Tuesday will rise to the occasion and run 65 to even 73.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you at 10.